We are currently outside in the garden area waiting for a glass blowing demonstration that will be starting at 10 a.m. This brings Zaz and I back to our time in Italy when we saw that in person at a glass blowing factory.
So you so you can only get so much at a time because it's hot. You know, it just wants to drip and fall off. So to make things bigger, you build it up in layers. So you just pulled a little bit out, let it kind of stiffen up for a second, and then you're going right back in to add just a little bit more. Showing you what happens if we stop turning. It wants to drip and fall on the floor. That's a different demonstration. Shaping it up, getting it ready for the bubble. This is a steel top table, we call it a marver. Trying to even up all that glass. To create the bubble, Matt's going to blow air into the pipe, trap the air with his thumb. That air gets trapped in the tube. It has nowhere to go. It goes into the glass, creates our bubble. So when he steps away from this table, it's bubble time. Sometimes it happens quick, so don't blink. All right, here we go. Air trapped in the tube. 3, 2, 1, bubble. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming. We'll do that again in 1 hour. Just kidding. I mean, that's true. We're going to blow glass all day, so that will happen in an hour. But so that's enough glass to make something. That's about the same amount of glass I used to make the cup right here. Matt wants to make something a little bit bigger than a cup, something the size of one of these little vessels that we made yesterday. So to get to that size, we just need more glass. If we go back in right now to try to get more, our bubble's too hot. It's going to fall off center, potentially collapse. So we let it stabilize. We're going to let it cool down to about 1,000 Fahrenheit, which is hot, but it's not moving at that temperature. The glass doesn't start moving till like 1,200 Fahrenheit. At 1,500, if you let it sit at 1,500, it turns into a puddle. You want to be able to gather it up, 2,200-ish or 2,000 Fahrenheit. Is it ready? Go dip that thing. There we go. How do you know? Oh, that's how we know. You give it a tap. And then dip that back in there. Add some more material. And then over here, I've laid out a few different piles of crushed up colored glass. Set this up better for you, bud. Don't get me. Not again. So to apply it, he's just rolling right through it. This is crushed up colored glass. So we melt clear glass, and that way we can add just about any color we want. Quickest way to add color or a decoration, you just roll through the speckles and spots. And that's what it gives you, speckles and spots. So the heat from the glass that we gather up is 2,000 Fahrenheit. When you roll through those shards, it warms up those shards, and hot glass will stick to other hot glass. So it coats the outside. And then we can melt that in, and then come back and apply another color. So I put out a green and a blue. 2 different sizes. I think the blue is a little bit bigger. So it'll be a little bit bigger speckles and spots. And what gives glass color is metal oxide mixed in with the clear glass formula. So the clear glass is silica, soda ash, and limestone crushed up and then heated, and that turns into clear glass. They'll add metal oxide to it to give it color, and we buy it. So you can buy bars, colored glass, and then they crush it up in different sizes for us, the companies that make it. So we can purchase them in opaque colors, transparent colors, and then anything from a solid bar, and then a bunch of different sizes all the way down to a fine powder. The different sizes gives you a different decoration. Melt that in. Is that it for the color? That's it for the color. So we're going to melt that all in, sit at the bench, roll through a big wet wooden spoon. We call this a block. Sometimes our shape gets a little distorted while we're applying those colors, and we want to center everything back up. So to do that, we sit down and we roll through that tool. That's going to center everything back up for us. You guys have any questions so far? Yeah.
How do you know how far in you can grab the pole without giving yourself a third-degree burn?
It's a pretty distinct heat line on the rod. And you can see the color of it. So it's shiny where he's touching it, and then it's dull up here. That's where the heat is. And you can feel it. You choke up as much as comfortable, and then you're like, I'm not grabbing up there.
If I burn myself, you all would be the second to know.
So that's cooling down the tip by rolling it across the steel. And then giving it a little puff of air. So now I'll start to help out more actively as the assistant. I'm going to warm up a tool. These are called the jacks. We use the blades to carve lines in, shape the sides of the piece. I'll warm them up. They work best when they're hot and covered with beeswax to lubricate them. And then I'll stand on this end. If Matt wants some air, I can blow through the pipe or I can pump air into it. This was invented thanks to COVID. This is our newest glass blowing tool. We couldn't blow through the masks. We used to wear masks up here. So, blowing. Good. Stopping. So shaping that, carving a line in. That line right there, that's going to be how we can eventually separate it from the pipe. And back for some more heat. What are you going to do next? We're going to find out together. He won't tell me. He wants it a little bit taller, so he's going to get it hot. Use gravity. Turn it, let it stretch. Encourage that to stretch quicker by swinging it around. Blowing. Good. Capping. He's got a dry wood paddle. He's pushing the bottom in. So tip of the bubble, that's the bottom of the piece. Okay, bottom's done. Next thing we want to do is transfer it. So we're going to take it off the blowpipe. We're going to transfer it onto a separate rod so we can flip it around and work on the other side. This is kind of the trickiest part in making a vessel. So I got a little bit of glass. I'm going to shape it up. Very specific shape and temperature. When I'm ready, I bring it over, present it to Matt. He's going to guide it onto the center of the bottom, break it off the pipe, and then we're going to be attached to this little bit of glass right here. So this is tricky. It's all about temperatures and timing. Here we go. Stick it on. Make little adjustments. Trying to get it as close to the middle as possible. I'm ready. You guys ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Water right here. And a tap. Boom. Wow.
Ooh.
Amazing. It works. So far, so good. That doesn't always work. So I'm heating the whole thing now. I'm going to bring it back to the bench. Matt can check it out. That heat that I just took, we call that a flash. A flash is basically a maintenance heat. You can't let anything get too cold. If anything drops below around 800 Fahrenheit, you put it back into the fire that's 2000 Fahrenheit, gets thermally shocked, it will explode. You know how I know that? I've seen Matt do it. Sorry, Matt. Everybody's done that. Or every glass blower has done that. I can't tell you how many things I've exploded. Too many to count. I'm gonna wait a second. So now we're flipped around. Matt wants to get rid of any uneven glass, so he's gonna trim it. Once it's hot up there on the opening, we're gonna pull that out. We're gonna thin that out with the tweezers, and then he can just cut right through the glass with some scissors. So he's gonna do that, and then just in a minute, I'm gonna gather up some clear glass, roll through some green, and then we're gonna add a little stripe of color right around the top edge, just like all three of these things. This little detail of color right here, we're gonna add that. We call this a lip wrap. So we put it on when the opening's small, you stripe this little bit of color on, and then you stretch it wider. The wider it gets, the thinner that little line gets. And then this heat that he's taking is typically one of the longest heats, and that's because the glass was cold enough to break just a minute ago. It takes a little time to build that heat back up. Can't forget about the punty or the bottom of the piece, so every once in a while you see him flash the whole thing. Whoa, I almost got you. All right, here we go. He's gonna go get ready to trim that. And I'll get my little bit of green going. Trim that away, round that out with the jacks. I've got my little bit of green. If you notice, most of these things just look orange when they're hot, just because they're hot. But this is a bright green that I have here. All right, I'm ready. Here we go. Nice hot bit. Bring it over. That's gonna stick it on. Turn. Oh. Comes off just like that. You can see how stretchy glass is when it's hot. So you can grab it and pull it and stretch. And then hot glass sticks to hot glass. And then this is all flexible, which tells me it's cold. This was 2000 Fahrenheit a second ago, but it's so thin that the heat dissipates really quickly. Everybody here could touch this. You're not allowed to, but you could. And you can see it's green. Up here it looks a little bit different because it's thicker, it's hotter. Same color as this, just hotter, so it looks a little bit different. I'll put this in the bucket back here. The glass left on the steel, it gets thermally shocked from cooling quickly, builds up stress, and it cracks and explodes on that rod. In about 10 minutes, we'll have a clean rod to work with. So that thermal shock that happens in the bucket is what we're trying to avoid over here. That's why we have to keep the whole thing hot the whole time we're working on it. I kind of like it sticking out like that. Like a little bottle top. I think I tried this today. You guys think of any questions? Oh yeah, so it's a soda lime silicate, which is probably like 80% of manufactured glass is a soda lime silicate, like windows. So it's silica, soda ash, and limestone. And they get the silica, the raw silica, from mining quartz. They have to add other ingredients to bring the melting temperature down, because quartz melts at a high temperature. I like it.
Okay, there it is.
Beautiful. Look at that thing. That'll hold some flowers. Very nice. All right. Last step. We got to take it off that rod, put it into this silver box here. It's almost hot enough. Hopefully it's okay. It's supposed to be at 950 Fahrenheit. It's at 740. I think it'll be all right. We'll try to get it in there quick. So if this cools down too quickly, it builds up stress, it cracks and explodes. So we put it in the oven with everything we make throughout the day. End of the day, we run a program, cools that glass down slowly overnight. And that's the process of annealing. Maybe I will do it how we normally do. And I'll just balance it. So put a little water on that, tapped it, and it came right off. Got a wobbler. Torching it, get rid of any sharp edges, stamp it with our little community hot shop stamp, so now you know where it was made. And we have a beautiful little green and blue vase made by Matt, everybody. Cool. Get in there. See you tomorrow. All right, give it up for Matt.